Hola, y'all. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back, y'all. My name is Elle, and this is my perspective. Y'all, as the time is moving, I have to keep shifting so that the light is hitting me the right way and not blinding me and not putting this big old glare. And so, yeah, this is like take 99. Okay. So let me do a quick update from the time of the last video. I want to clarify some things and then I'm just going to give you an update. So the last video, yeah, I know I was talking about bugs, right? And while I'm talking about bugs, please know and understand, I know that bugs exist. There is nowhere that I'm going to go and bugs do not exist. But there are times where the poison that I put down, and y'all, we've come across, we meaning my family, we've come across several exterminators that are just like, why am I here? You know, because we do a very good job at doing what we do. From the days of malathion, diazepam, liquid satin, things like that, heavy hitting poisons. Like we know what we're doing when we're looking for some stuff to kill some stuff and to be preventative, right? So we get that. But when there are bugs that may still hang out despite all the spraying, and for that apartment, which I'll show you, but for that apartment, I was spraying monthly, sometimes twice a month, but I was spraying monthly. And I would see things like spiders, spiders would, because every morning and every day throughout the day, I'm checking all the rooms to make sure that all the rooms are fine. Because it's just me. I'm just one person and I still need to go check all the rooms. And so I may see a spider that's dead or, a bug that's dead or, even what are those things called? The millipede, centipede things, like those things would be dead. Um, but yeah, ants would sometimes, when they would come in, man, those things would just like pile in. And so sometimes you could see that they would be dead at the window, like all of them dead, and maybe a couple just trying to cripple along and everything. And so, I would know to do another application there because I'll show you again in the videos, I'll show you there's a window that would actually leak and water would come through. So, of course, if water's coming through, you may need to reapply in that area. So again, the video was not, hey, there's bugs here. The video was like, what kind of bug is this? Because as much poison as I'm spraying down, these little bugs should not even be around, right? They they should be dead. But again, thanks for those who were putting the names of possible bugs of what it could be. Thank you for that information because it did give me clarity and it actually answered the one that I saw that I believe matched closely was probably the grain mite. And upon reading about the grain mite, the article was saying that, they're not killed by chemicals or poison. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And it was also like, hey, if you see these things, and you're already infested. It's overpopulated. Like you see them because where they were, they've overpopulated. And so now they're in your space. Yeah, they're in your face so that you can see them. And I was like, all these things make sense. And I was also seeing that they also can feed on mold. And so in the kitchen. I don't know if you recall, but in the kitchen, I've been having a lot of issues with not just, so that was the second time that I'd seen those little bugs. That was only the second time, but there's also these hopping bugs that were really prevalent there and in the bathroom, but I had gotten them so that they were almost non-existent in the bathroom when I did a different treatment. I got those, and so they weren't as bad in the bathroom, but they were in the kitchen, but I couldn't figure out where they were coming from to know where to spray until the last moment. But again, it was time for me to be moving out anyway. So there had been a leak in the kitchen under the sink. And so I was able to get up as much water as possible. But I do understand that the way the cabinet went, there's likely a subfloor where the water was and unable to get up, right? And so we already know that water is going to still have moisture, it's going to have mold, it's going to have those types of things right there. And so I just knew that there was something there, even though I couldn't always see it. And so we would not only spray and treat the area heavily, but also bleach, just straight bleach, and wipe the walls down with straight bleach. And so those things still were not helping because as soon as the bleach dried, those bugs were right back. And it's not those little bugs that I showed in the video, but it was a different type of bug. But yeah, just it is not me being ignorant to the fact that bugs exist. It was me being ignorant to what type of bug is this. And so the video was so that I could get information, if possible, from those who are my viewers. Again, it is not that I'm oblivious to the fact that bugs exist. I am fully aware, but I'm also fully versed in treating my home and preventative measures, which again, the poisons, I was using 3 different poisons. They were highly effective. And I did try to keep them in a rotation so that it wasn't just one type of poison that was down. But I've done that in my other spaces as well. I grew up in the days of malathion, diazepam, liquid savin, things like that. So when I'm spraying poison, it's not this little it's not little stuff. I try to go for heavy hitting stuff. And so, for something to still evade and overpopulate, for me to see them in abundance like that, something's not right. So again, yes, thank you for the comments and so forth. It looks like that bug may have fit the description of a grain mite, which it says, poison isn't going to get rid of them. And they also feed off of mold, which again, I suspect was growing in a spot that I couldn't visually see in the kitchen, behind the cabinets, and even in a subfloor. So, it made sense. And again, thank you for that comment and for the name of the bugs for me to even go and look up. Because that's what the video was for. It was just to get better understanding. So moving forward, I know what to be aware of and things like that. So that's that. But yeah, that just know that when I put a video out here, I'm not oblivious to the fact that there's bugs. I'm not oblivious to the fact that there's mold. But when I take certain measures that I'm used to taking and it's still not effective, then I'm like, what's going on? What do y'all know that I don't know? Because there's no way in HELL that I'm going to know everything about any place. It Even the places that I lived in for the longest in the United States, I don't know any and everything about those places. So yeah, okay, let's see. So from the last video, from the video of me saying that I'm leaving Mexico to now, let's also talk about that. So excuse me. Yes, I knew. So I was talking to my family members and I was like, hey, I'm going to get more clarity once I get out of that apartment and into the hotel because it's going to allow me to think, to process, to see why I'm feeling certain ways and so forth and so on. And a lot of stuff has been happening. And I don't feel as strongly as I felt back then. And there was also an event going on in the United States that um, not not as serious as my mother's event, but a different event where, okay, show up and be present and be supportive type thing and get there. But that has dissipated and it's dissipated, but it's not dissipated, it's whatever. So it's still a step by step, day by day type thing. But I will tell you this, between that video and now, I have this herbalist that I've been going to, and I really like him. And if you know anything about me, I really love herbs and I'm really passionate about certain foods, right? Health in general. But this herbalist, I really like that, and I don't want to end that relationship. Like I want to glean from him. And even he will speak to another lady, but I want to glean as much information and I don't want to end that relationship. So that right there, man, that was like, man, girl, okay, we're just gonna go to the other side of the perimeter so that I can keep visiting old dude. And then here in this hotel, there is a doctor that is a homeopath who is close by. And I'm like, I need to go see him too. Just all these things because they hippie, right? Like they're not going to be using the traditional meds. Like I don't really like synthetic medicines, right? So, herbs is the way. So, um, those things, and again, there's other factors where I'm like, maybe I should just go on the other side of the perimeter. Like that's still being where I'm listening to my intuition and getting automated because I still don't have clarity on what that is about. Um, so maybe it is to just get on the other side of the perimeter. Again, I don't know. But clarity will continue to come as I'm here. So I'm not really worried about it, but I did want to give you an update on that. My ticket so my plane ticket, I wasn't going to be leaving, which is what I was trying to say. I'm not going to be leaving like right off the bat. So in the verbiage for the promissory note, where the owner owed me the 20,000 pesos, it also said that she could have up to 15 days to do any repairs and to get the receipt to me. And then whatever those amounts were would be deducted from the 20,000 pesos. So even though we had agreed to meet on I think it was the 5th or the 6th. But even though we agreed to meet on that day, it didn't mean that she was going to necessarily turn over to the 20,000 pesos. Like I may have had to wait. So to get a plane ticket to be right after that date was not going to be a smart move. Like you needed to make sure that it was going to allow time for any uh, missteps, any delays, any obstacles, and things like that. But y'all know I also fly with Southwest, so it would be easy for me to just move my ticket, rearrange my ticket, or to cancel the ticket. So it's not an issue on that end. But yeah, I knew that I was going to be in a hotel for a minute, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It allows me to kind of de-stress, to refocus, to get my grounding, my footing back. And so all those things are beneficial for me because, just, yeah. Also, I have been doing a little bit of reading. Those places that I even was thinking about, oh, hell no. Like, have y'all seen what places I have going on? Like, somebody had mentioned Ecuador, and I spoke to someone in 2021, and she was living in Ecuador. And I was like, ah, man, like I can consider Ecuador. Ecuador has some shenanigans going on. Portugal has some shenanigans going on, like a revolution. What is this stuff that I'm hearing about? Like, what is this? So no, I'm good. I'm good. And so those things are also like, girl, you better stay where you are because you know where you at, right? And so I'm looking at maybe I should just be right on the other side of the perimeter. So again, I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. But it's scary out there. I feel like somebody who's in the US and people are talking about going to Mexico and they're like, Mexico, why would you go to Mexico? Now I'm in Merida, Mexico, and I'm like, it's scary out there. Like everywhere is scary. Intuition, are you sure that you want me to leave Merida? Like it's scary out there. Like y'all start doing some research and looking up them countries. It's scary out there, right? So I just wanted to bring y'all up to speed on that. Okay, for real, let's get into the video for real. Because, yeah. Okay, so it takes a second for it to show up. Can y'all see? Okay, so this is my living room. I am standing at the patio area, um, shooting in. So this is my living room. Again, everything is furnished. This is my laptop. This is my blankie. This is my essential oils. Yeah, I keep essential oils like out. They need to be out because they okay, so y'all, I'm a hippie, right? And so different essential oils do certain things. This one right here is actually charged to keep me calm. So when I'm going around strangers and having to move into a place all by myself, nobody's going to be there. It's just to keep me calm. Yeah, don't talk about my suitcase because I know where you live, right? Okay, I don't. But this isn't even my suitcase. I'm borrowing it. You cannot really see this, but this is my kitchen space. So where the bugs were for reference, they were right here next to this burner. It's actually two burners. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. The notary left his pen cap behind. He never came back to get it, but I mean, I guess he's not missing it. But these are the two, these are the two metal plates, let's say metal plates, where all my cooking would go down. I just use the front one for the most part. My little counter space, can't go anywhere without your soap, yeah. And my sink, and so the area in the kitchen where the bugs were, They were all in this area, just only in this area. And the water, so the water came and there was a water leak issue, but it went all the way to this side. Excuse me. It went all the way to this side, and there's a little subfloor area. And so that's where I'm suspecting the issue was coming from. And so it's probably a shit show down there. And I was seeing some things up here because they've already, grown wherever they've done their thing. But yeah, I had been spraying poison in the entire area. And then I got to where I was bleaching the walls when my mother came, bleaching the walls, but nothing was deterring the bugs. But those little bugs that I saw in that video, that was my second time. So when I recorded them, that was just my second time seeing them. But again, thank you to the commenter. I believe those were grain mites, which are not able to be killed by poison. And they feed on mold, which I'm pretty sure they had a whole buffet feast going on down in that area. So this refrigerator is not, let me try to go back out. The refrigerator is not full size. It doesn't bother me because I typically do not like to have a full refrigerator, but in this instance, I actually did because my silverware and my dishes were also placed in the refrigerator. My freezer, I'm not big on frozen foods to begin with, but hey, it serves its purpose. This is the patio door area. I will show you a space later so that you can kind of gauge how high it is. But I do like the high ceilings. It makes everything feel spacious. I do have an issue with clutter. Something else that I want to bring to your attention. A lot of us coming from outside of the Mexico area will be looking for a furnished place. Understand, and it varies for each individual person, but understand how you function with furniture. To me, in all these pictures and spaces, it's too much. It's an overload for me. And I felt like coming in that I was thinking more like a hotel stay and that I could get over it, but I couldn't. And so it started to continue to eat away at me as the time was going by. So yeah, I would cover this up. If you've seen me do a video without this being covered, trust that I wasn't sitting back all the way. Just like here in this hotel, I am not touching this wall behind me. So this is bedroom one. Again, fully furnished. This bed, so if you look at it, this bed, if you scoot it, let's just say that it takes about 2.5 tiles, right? And so there's enough space to get two queen size beds and then a single bed on the end. I'm on a single right now, but yeah. So this is bedroom one. It has two floor to ceiling windows. This one right here, I'm just gonna go tell you some pros and cons. This window right here, when it rained, rain would seep in through the bottom. It wouldn't come from the sides, wouldn't come from the top or anything like that, but it would just seep through the bottom. And so you had to be mindful when it would rain. This right here, I did ask when I came in, I was like, hey, what is that? And I wasn't familiar with what it was. And they said it was like an adhesive that possibly another shelving was there. Yeah, it was mold. So yeah, that right there. Um, Here's the mold again. Here's the other window. This window right here at the bottom would be infamous for ants crowding in. But again, I would just apply a heavier amount of poison around windows and things like that. Of course, I did also get my baseboards in their entirety, but sometimes ants would pile in. And so I make sure that those were taken care of. No biggie, just part of living anywhere. Have a ceiling fan and an AC in each room. The two side tables, which I did not use, did not open, did not go through. This is the second room. It has a floor to ceiling window and then it has a horizontal window. Um, this room was going to be my recording room, but as you know, or you may not know, sometimes the further you get away from a router, it is harder to get a signal. And that was the case with this one. So yes, you could get a booster, or you could just record in the living room, which is what I ended up doing. So there you have it. Oh, sorry. And here's the service gate right here. I didn't really use the service gate because there's nothing on my patio. People had to come on the inside to do work. So the service entrance was not needed from front for me. Um, Shower, it has a little glass panel. Yes, you could get a shower rod to go across and put a shower curtain there, but I didn't want to. I really do not like unnecessary clutter. To me, a squeegee was fine to get, so I would just get a squeegee and squeegee the floors each and every time before and after I would take a shower. So, hey, it worked for me and it was fine. This is the window, it's frosted, and bathroom. Language barrier is a thing. So I had two sets of realtors when I was looking at this space place, and the owner's realtor was actually walking with me. She did speak English, and she wanted me to switch on the lights. And so I switched on the top light, which is up here, and it didn't come on. And so I was like, is it possible for you to change out the light bulb so that the light works when I move in? And she said, yes, it is possible. So she goes back and she explains to the owner's friend, because the owner was not present, but the owner's friend was present. And I think that's where the translation kind of messed up because it wasn't the light bulb that was changed. The entire light fixture was changed. I actually like the fixture. I just needed the light bulb. But I think the wording came back to change the light in the bathroom above the sink instead of change the light bulb. But I mean, it's the smallest little things. I did feel that I effectively communicated to the owner's real estate agent that it was just the light bulb that I needed changed. But again, it is what it is. This is the washing machine. The washing machine did break a couple of times, but just be patient. Be patient because this bad boy, you can put it on medium to fill up to medium level. And sometimes it was like, I heard what you said, but I don't want to do it. And so it will fill up to the top and it would just stay there. And then when it came to the spin cycle, like the water was not leaving. And so I'm just like, I'll just be patient and, whether I needed to turn it off and turn it back on or put it to it. I did try to put it on the spin and rinse cycle because it's the spin and rinse cycle as well, only spin and rinse. But even on there, it wasn't spinning, it just kept adding water. And so, yeah, you just be patient with it. Some of the machines are older, but yeah, you can figure it out. This is back to here. So we're getting ready to go outside. So this is back to the front. This is my patio. Um, I did not realize that it was going to be a thing, but when the patio was skinny like this, narrow like this, that's something that I do not like. There's a few things that I did not like about the bottom unit. The patio is small. It's narrow. This wall right here. So something to know about iguanas is iguanas are cold-blooded animals, and so they love the heat, which, we get that, right? The walls are stone, we get that, but they would line up on this patio and they would line up on both walls. Um, and so, yeah, when I first got here, I'm looking and I see this. Let me try to get in. I see this, right? To me, these are footsteps. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? What animal is that? They were like, no, 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 no. It's just like leaves. The leaves are making, whatever. And I'm like, all the way down at the bottom. They're like, yeah, yeah, it's leaves. It's good. And I'm like, that's an animal. You're not gonna play with me. And then they were like, we don't see any footsteps here, so it's not an animal. And I was just like, okay. Um, so yeah, they actually were iguanas because after I was here for a few months, the iguanas stopped being on just the wall. The iguanas would be literally in this area and on the other side that I'm about to show you as well. Also, these lights, they're solar lights. They were not working, and the handyman said that he was going to come back and fix it. By the time the handyman came back, night had come, right? So this is day one of me being here, but night had come and I saw these trees here, guys. Okay, These trees, there are a lot of bats that are in these trees. These trees come from here all the way down to the other side of where I'm standing right now. So it's a lot of trees and it's a lot of bats, right? Bats do not scare me, but I am fully aware that bats are also attracted to light. Because when I was visiting my great grandmother in a hospital, we were in a place where bats were a thing, right? But to visit her in the hospital and leave at night, bats would always be around the light. And so, since I knew now that I had a lot of bats where I lived, I did not need these lights to be fixed. I was like, it's good. Don't worry about it. So, and this is the other part of the L. I call it the L, but it's the patio. And so, same thing, a lot of iguanas and birds, and this is the drying this. I didn't use that because, again, I've seen all the birds and the bats and the iguanas and all that. So I didn't feel like I was going to keep going outside like that on this thing, a part of the being on the bottom unit. So this is me, and this is the very bottom of the neighbor's window. It's also a floor to ceiling window. This neighbor would have a lot of birds ram into this window. These birds, guess what, guys? They're ending up in my patio. So, yeah, they're ending up in my patio. Only one bird died. Um, and died at my window over here. And so the monster that I tell you about, this monster. It's just an animal, but I call it a monster. It's an animal that I didn't ever put eyes on, but I knew that there was some animal that would come into the patio at night and it would leave things, but then come back and get the things. Like there was one time where there was a huge branch that was wedged in my window. And I'm like, what? Like wind isn't going to do that. And so I knew that something had to take it and wedge it in there. And then the next day, it was taken out and moved. And I was just like, that's crazy. So, yeah, those are those things. There's one more that I want to show you. This happened. So, again, all the videos that I'm showing you are me day one in this unit. And then day two is when um, it rained, right? And so when it rained is when I was able to see that there are leaks in both rooms. So this is room two. This is not the room that I was in, but again, I check all the rooms. So this room, the window, this is the window, the horizontal window, it has a leak. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this right here, all this is water. And so over time, the water would come. This up here would not be wet at all. The wall is not wet, but after a while, it gets wet and you can actually touch it and it would do a slight indentation. But it's seeping through the middle somewhere. So there's a leak somewhere. But yeah, just those things. And, hopefully you're aware of things and mindful of being on the bottom units and the bugs and so forth and so on. Again, they're all normal things, um, and mold is a thing, but there are things that even though knowing mold is a thing, that I've learned to be more proactive and aware of. And I see why sometimes the locals may not have AC units and deal with fans because of the mold that can grow from the usage that you have used it from one time to the next. And yeah, you can definitely clean your AC units on a monthly basis to help deter that. But again, it's just knowing all of that information and doing so accordingly. So yeah, I think that is all that I wanted to say on this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or things like that, no, I don't know where I'm going next. I'm still in this hotel. I will be in this hotel. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put in the comment section. Y'all already know, keep y'all shenanigans to yourself. Don't put that in my comment section. Um, Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, y'all. And until next time, I'll chat with y'all later. Bye, y'all.